My parents have a habit of buying gifts for me that are actually gifts for the family. My younger siblings get gifts that are just for them, but more often than not, whatever I get for my birthday, Christmas, or a special occasion is meant to be shared with my brothers or the whole family. For example, a few years ago, they bought my brothers each a bicycle for their birthday. I got a Switch. Whenever I was playing it in my room and my brothers wanted to play, I was forced to bring it out so we could all play, but I wasn't allowed to ride their bikes. Well, I'm going to school in another state in the fall, and I found a summer job there. I'll be living with an uncle and helping him around his house as payment. I gathered up all my gifts to take with me, since they were mine. I was told to leave the Switch, since I'd be busy with school. Instead, I sold literally everything my parents had forced me to share and used the money to buy myself stuff to replace it. I did this over the week before I flew out. The Switch was the last thing to go. I sold it to a friend from school. That was a week ago. My parents and brothers have been bugging me nonstop about being an ungrateful and greedy idiot. Honestly, it makes me smile. I don't think I was in the wrong to sell my property. I don't really need anything from them since I have savings, my job, my money from selling my stuff, and my uncle. He's on my side since he thinks my parents were being idiots to me. He was the one who suggested selling my stuff. However, I might be the idiot because now they have to either buy new things for my brothers or listen to them whine about not having them. So, am I? Are you ungrateful and greedy? Then what exactly does that make their butts? Sell your stuff, enjoy your life, and good luck in school. Not the idiot. A gift belongs to its recipient. That crap always bugged me. When I got candy, my mom opened it up and shared it with everyone. I hated that. The uncle is a better person than the actual parents. Glad OP has him. Info. Are you a girl? Or are you a half-sibling or something? Neither answer would change you to an idiot here, but I'm curious how your parents don't see their idiocy. Yeah, there is seriously some sort of difference with OP that makes the parents view them as less deserving than the brothers. This can range from OP being a girl, to OP being the result of infidelity, to OP's being the oldest, means OP's responsible for the success in carrying on the family line, and the younger brothers don't need that responsibility. They're just fun. Definitely. This sounds like some evil step-parent BS. It reminds me of the shady step-parent favoritism I've experienced. I used to get birthday presents from dad and stepmom. It's Christmas Eve, so there was some gift overlap for me. Stepmom would go behind his back and give stepsister cards with money to make things even. Okay, so where's my card with money on her birthday? Or my stepdad would give my stepbrother a full set of paintball gear and video game consoles for Christmas, while I'd get a small paperback book about art or something similar. Honey, brilliant maneuver, especially leaving the Switch for last. They can replace the stuff on the next designated victim's birthday. They're your things. The fact that they got mad about it means that you were right to think that they weren't actually buying gifts for you. Definitely not the idiot. And good on you. This is hilarious payback. But remember, if you get into trouble, you've burned that bridge. So keep your stick on the ice. A couple of years ago, I, 34 female, lost my job due to the company I worked for going into financial trouble. My husband at the time didn't work, which caused us to struggle for money and eventually led to him abandoning me and our 3 children, female tween and pretween, and male kindergartner. Because of this, my parents, 65 male and 64 female, offered to let us move back in with them for a while. Everything was fine, but after a few weeks, I noticed that the food being given to us was both unhealthy and given in very large quantities. I didn't want to offend my mom, so I offered to do some cooking instead of bringing it up with her. However, she insisted it was all done by her because she enjoys it. I obliged and thought, I'll just leave most of it. The problem with this is she started offering anything I didn't eat to the children, who always ate all of it since they didn't realize how bad it was for them. I also didn't want to talk about this with the children because creating a fear of gaining weight always does more harm than good. This carried on for about a year before I finally brought it up with her. I've gained almost 50 pounds and am now almost obese, and 2 of the children are clinically obese now as well, with the youngest still being firmly overweight. They all get a reasonable amount of exercise, but it makes little difference when they eat almost 3,000 calories a day. A few weeks ago, I watched their school sports day, and it was worrying how little they could run. The 2 girls couldn't even run 100 meters and had to walk the final part. I told my mom she had to stop giving us so much unhealthy food, but she snapped at me and said I should be grateful that she's even letting us stay here. I hate conflict, so I ended up backing down, but I feel really bad about the effect it's having on my kids. Recently, the oldest one has been trying to avoid sports at all costs since she doesn't enjoy it with the extra weight. Am I the idiot for bringing it up with my mom? You are the idiot. How can you neglect your kid to the point that they're obese and blame it on your mom? It was your responsibility to set boundaries. You're responsible for how much you eat. You're also responsible for whether or not you move out. This is your fault, not your mom's. Right? Like, you're the parent. You can tell your children and your mother no. I would explain that I appreciate her cooking, but it's not healthy, especially for growing children. I would say I'm going to cook for myself and my children if my mother refuses to consider our health. All I see is a lot of excuses for why you and your kids have gained weight. OP, you're 34 years old. You're old enough to understand how and why humans put on weight. You're smart enough to know the ways to lose it, I hope. If you can't stand up to your mother, move out. Less convenient for you, but certainly possible. Many people manage 3 children without their mother there. Update. The problem is, there isn't excess food on my children's plates because they eat it all. As for me, I could scrape mine into the bin, but I'm worried that'll anger my mom, and when she's angry, she stops listening to you entirely. On top of that, where do you think I'll be able to buy a house with a minimum wage job, as well as 3 children who need to be looked after? If this was a viable option, I would have done it by now. My girlfriend, 26, is really close to her best friend, 25 female, and ever since I, 28 male, started dating my girlfriend, I pretty much also became friends with her. The friend often comes along with my girlfriend and me when we do stuff, and we have become good friends overall. I can talk to her about topics I can't really relate to with my girlfriend, like sports and cars. For my birthday a few months ago, this friend bought me a sports jersey of my hometown's team, which I had only mentioned once briefly to her. So it was a very unexpected, awesome gift. This jersey was not cheap at all, at least $80. So I wanted to return the favor when her birthday came along. This friend's birthday was a couple of days ago, and she invited my girlfriend and me to her birthday dinner with some other girlfriends of theirs. Since she got me such a sentimental and cool gift, I wanted to give her something equally exciting. I bought her a pair of tickets to a concert by an artist she posts a lot on her social media, about $150. So I was pretty sure she would like the gift. After finishing dinner, she opened the gifts that she received. I didn't really think much of it and went along with it. My girlfriend bought her a nice watch, and she seemed to like it. When I gave my gift, everybody for some reason seemed stunned, and the friend was really happy about the tickets. Apparently, they're all pretty big fans of the artist, and the tickets weren't easy to come by. For some reason, my gift became the topic for the rest of the night. Some of my friends started joking that they wanted to become my best friend so I could buy them gifts. I didn't think much of it because they were joking around. But after the night finished, and while driving back to my girlfriend's place, my girlfriend seemed genuinely mad and upset with me. I asked her if anything was wrong, and she just started going off on me about how I embarrassed her in front of all her friends by buying her friend a better gift than she did. I asked her what exactly upset her with my gift, and she said that it was the fact that I made her look cheap with the gift she gave. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot for the gift, but you need to reassure your girlfriend about your intentions toward this friend, because that's quite a gift. Yeah, I definitely think some reassuring is in order here. It's also strange to me that they didn't go in together for a gift. Neither he nor his girlfriend had any sort of conversation regarding the gifts they were both getting for her friend. Like, you'd think, hey, so what are you getting? Would have popped up at some point before they both went to the same birthday for the friend. Oh, that's a good idea, especially if they want to gift her a bigger joint gift as a couple. Are you into the friend? You mentioned how you can talk to her about some stuff you can't talk to your girlfriend about. You're not making it much of a secret that y'all have something for each other. I'll wager a virtual beverage. Girlfriend isn't upset about being one-upped here. She's more likely upset about the perception of and jealous of this friendship, since it sounds like OP's becoming increasingly tight with this friend, perhaps even more so than with the girlfriend. That's the real item to address with her. Is OP the plus one to the concert? That would likely add fuel to all fires. My husband and I have a daughter who's kindergarten age, named Everly. When we were expecting, my husband was in love with the name Evelyn, but the name was a hard no for me. It was never my favorite name, but I had one particularly difficult child in my class with that name a few years ago, and it was forever ruined for me. My husband knew this, so we compromised with Everly, which is more my taste anyway. No negative association, but it's close to Evelyn. My husband never lost his love for the name Evelyn, however. My sister gave birth to her first daughter, Evelyn, a month ago. My husband commented on how much he loved that name and how it was his favorite. My sister was surprised and asked him about it. He said Evelyn didn't work for me, and we compromised. My sister was bothered by my not liking Evelyn enough to use it, and she asked me about it. I told her the name simply didn't work for me, but it did for her, and that's great. She told me she wanted to know why. What was so bad about that name? She said Evelyn was a lovely classic name that's coming back into fashion hard. I told her I was aware, but I loved my daughter's name, and she loved her daughter's name, so everything was good. She wouldn't let this topic go, so on Saturday, I finally gave in and told her that a former student of mine made the name unusable for me because I associated the name with her so much, and I would prefer not to have a strong negative association with my child's name. She tried to argue that it would have been a good association to use it for my daughter. I responded that the name was ruined for me, even if I had loved it before, but I would likely lose that association eventually because of my niece, and could we please leave it alone? My sister wasn't happy about it, and she told me I just insulted my own niece's name, and that I made it very clear I despised it and would forever think of my niece as associated with a child I didn't like teaching. My brother-in-law, sister's husband, confirmed that she's still angry and is expecting an apology from me to ensure her I don't hate that name. Am I the idiot? Oh my God, your sister victimized herself. You handled it well by saying that the name didn't work for you, and you told her everything was good. And then she pressed you for an answer and got one she didn't like. She did this to herself, I think. And like you said, just because that name is not for you doesn't mean it won't take on a positive association for you from now on. And on a side note, who chooses a name that's so incredibly close to the name of her sister's child anyway? People press for details, thinking it would be amazing to get to know other secrets, and then act hurt, victimizing themselves when they find out the details aren't following their wild assumptions. Abhor these people. OP, not the idiot. There's no need to apologize and be the bigger person. Tell brother-in-law to focus on his baby and his wife. And if they send any flying monkeys, block them straight away. Yeah, Your sister should occupy herself with her new baby, and your brother-in-law can pound sand and change diapers. Honestly, your husband started this by being petty, telling your sister that the name Everly came out of a compromise because you didn't like Evelyn. Finally, someone places some of the blame on the husband. He threw her under the bus. What a salty man. He clearly either still resents OP for having to compromise on the name Evelyn, or this is something he does all the time and just gives out information that isn't his to give out. Either way, he sucks. I moved to a new city in early April for a job. At work, I met this girl who's the same age as me, and she was kind enough to invite me to her birthday dinner that weekend. It was my first invite and a chance to meet new people. At her birthday dinner, I met a group of girls who were so kind, and we exchanged social media. They would go out every weekend, and I went to a few of their outings. I also met this guy at my apartment's gym when I first moved in, and we've been on 2 dates and text and call every day. I didn't expect to meet someone so quickly, but I really liked him. I went out for brunch mimosas with my new friends, and they were discussing relationships and guys. I brought up the guy I was seeing, and they all went silent. One of them speaks and says, "That's her ex. They broke up last summer after a 1.5 years of dating." I said, "Oh," and it went quiet. After we left, my coworker texted me saying that if I wanted to be cool with her and her friends, I couldn't date this guy I was seeing since it was awkward and she hadn't gotten over him. I thought about it, and when he invited me on another date and asked to be exclusive, it made me realize I didn't want to end things. This is a new group I just met and hung out with a few times. Plus, I was only friends with my coworker and never spoke to her friend, who dated him one-on-one. When I told her my decision, she called me fake and said I chose an idiot over a true friend group and that the girl was devastated. She became very rude at work and didn't speak to me, and the team noticed. Our supervisor called us both in for a meeting, asking what the issue was, and she said that I no longer wanted to be cordial with her. I told the supervisor the full story, since that made it seem like I did something horrible, and our supervisor was shocked. She said it's petty and to drop it, and she expected better from my coworker. When we were leaving, she called me an idiot, saying that I shouldn't have told the story and could have been vague, and that I'm unprofessional, and that she could lose her job since she's already on probation. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If she didn't want it to be brought up at work, then she shouldn't have made her annoyance with you so obvious. If someone's being so dramatic that a supervisor notices their behavior and then asks about said behavior, it is not your fault. You weren't unprofessional. She was extremely unprofessional, and that's unsurprising since she's already on probation, presumably for being unprofessional. Are your coworkers all 15 to 16 years old? This is ridiculous. You can't gatekeep on who your exes date. It's so juvenile. I got the vibe from this group of girls from a teenage drama, like Mean Girls. I couldn't understand how they were old enough to work. It's even more ridiculous, the ex's attitude, considering OP isn't even her friend yet and won't be. If she throws someone under the bus like that, she can't be mad when they tell the truth and stand up for themselves. It'd be one thing if she wanted to set boundaries until she got over the relationship. Still, she can't control who someone dates, and she's petty AF and is already on probation. Shocking. And if she loses her job, it won't be because of you. It'll be because of her own actions. At least your boss isn't interested in petty social bickering during off hours.